Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video about who has been the biggest breakout star in each of Europe's big five leagues. So we'll start off with the league that I imagine most of you are familiar with, and that is the Premier League. So I've looked at all of the teams this season and I narrowed it down to a few players. Harvey Elliott, because this is the first time he's actually properly broken into the Liverpool team and had a consistent run of games. I also debated on whether to go for Moises Caicedo for Brighton, but I also thought that his breakout moment was sort of towards like the second half of last season, I thought more so I left him out. And there were also a couple of others, but I'm going to stick with Harvey Elliott because he's managed to nail down a starting spot so far this season in the Liverpool team. He's scored a few goals in both the Champions League and the Premier League, and has been a very creative output for Liverpool in a underwhelming start for the season for Liverpool. So he definitely deserves a shout, if not, to win the accolade of Charlie Thomas Morris Premier League most breakout campaign player. Yeah, we're really going there. But yeah, I think he's had a really good season so far for Liverpool. And I think the next step for him is probably got to be trying to get into the England squad. It's going to be tough because, I mean, in terms of like attacking midfielders or wingers, England have probably have more now than they have ever had in terms of like players that are, really, really good. So Harvey Elliott from the Premier League, and then we'll go to Serie A. Now this was the easiest one of the list, one of my favourite players to watch in the world right now, Kvaratskhelia, also known as Kvaradonna, plays for Napoli, scores goals for Napoli, and tears defences apart for Napoli. So yeah, I mean he has been like the breakout star out of all five leagues, if we're being completely honest. Like, this was the only one where I didn't even have to, think about who I was going to put down, because he has been ridiculous for Napoli so far this season. His dribbling ability is just a joke. He's just like burst on the scene out of nowhere, it feels, and has become probably easily the best player in Serie A this season. And one of the best players in the world so far this season. So I don't even need to say any more on this. Kvaratskhelia has got to, be the breakout star in Italy. We'll then go to France. Now this was a bit of a tough one. I decided to go for Leonardo Balerdi for Marseille. I think he's had a very solid start to the season at the centre of defence, and has put some good performances in the Champions League as well as the domestic league, especially in the game against Sporting Lisbon and in the 4-1 home win, where he actually scored one of the goals. It was a header, I believe, from a corner where the keeper didn't cover himself in glory, but he still positioned him really well to get his head on it. And yeah, he's had a really solid start to this season for Marseille. And although he had a decent season last year for them, I just feel as though this year is the one where he's starting to be talked about as one of the best centre-backs in the entire league. Next, we'll go over to Spain, I think, and for Barcelona. Now, Barcelona had a bit of a strange start to the season. They're in the Europa League after being knocked out of the Champions League, still with a game to go. And in La Liga, they've done quite well. I think they were unbeaten until they played Real Madrid the other week in El Clasico. And that is, even since then, they've beaten Villarreal 3 or 4-0. I can't remember what it was, but like their league form is quite good. And one of the players who's contributed massively to that is the left-back Alejandro Balde, who has managed to pretty much displace Jordi Alba in the starting 11. He's been really good since he's properly come into the team. He made a few appearances last year. In fact, I've got a fact about him for you. His first ever Barcelona appearance was at the start of last season in a 3-0 loss to Bayern Munich. His most recent Barcelona appearance was in a 3-0 loss to Bayern Munich. So not much has changed, but nevertheless, he has put in some very good performances and is the perfect heir to Jordi Alba in this Barcelona team. And despite them having a poor start to the season in Europe, well, I mean, their Champions League campaign's over. He's been a very consistent performer, very good at getting forward. Could probably operate as a winger as well. Not that Barcelona need it, because they absolutely filled to the brim with wingers right now. They've got Rafinha, Ansu Fati, Ousmane Dembele, Ferran Torres, even Pedri could play out on the wing. They've just got so many players who can play out wide right now. It's ridiculous. So yeah, he probably won't be needed there, but as a replacement for the eventually outgoing Jordi Alba, I think his contract's up soon. So yeah, I think he would be a very good replacement in the starting 11 for him. And then finally, that takes us to Germany. And this was quite a tricky one. I was looking through a lot of the teams, and I couldn't really pick out one player. Now, German football is definitely not my expert area, but I've decided to go for Nusayr Mazraoui for Bayern Munich. He's made the right back spot his own, really, and played really well in most games I've seen him play, and yeah, very good at getting forward and just contributes a lot to their attack. Bayern Munich are a team who dominate most games that they play because they are the strongest team in their division in the Bundesliga, and also one of the best teams in the world, and definitely the best team in their group in the Champions League. So yeah, he was always going to be able to given a license to get forward. So yeah, for me, I think he's probably been the breakout star in the Bundesliga. I know he has had a few good seasons now at Ajax in Eredivisie, but I feel as though I'm not a massive fan of the drop off in level from the big 5 leagues to the rest of Europe. But we've got to be honest, moving from the Eredivisie to playing in the Bundesliga, the standard of teams you come up against is definitely a level higher, and he's managed to up his game and played really well for Bayern Munich so far this season. So that is why I've picked him. Out of all 5, I mean, the biggest breakout star in Europe has probably 100% got to be Kvaratskhelia. Just a phenomenal footballer. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.